Oh no. Oh no, everyone. My music is ending a minute before the countdown timer, so I guess we have to wait a minute before we can start. Uh, Now I guess we'll go ahead and start early. So, hello everyone. This is Lichmaster98, your game master here for Unrestricted Lorefare, and welcome to our third faction turn. We'll be getting started here. We've got quite a lot of interesting information to get through, quite a lot of good content, and some fun turns to process. Hopefully, we'll have some exciting developments as the term progresses. Uh, I think we'll be quite interested to see what happens. Few housekeeping things. Of course, if you're new here, you'll be able to join into our Discord where you can join any of the number of factions that are participating in making this world. Beacon Space is a sci-fi setting in which we're using the rules from the Stars Without Numbers faction turn, adapted with some community adaptations to work out the game as a multiplayer system. We'll be getting right into things. Do I have any other pre-stream announcements? It doesn't look like it. So again, welcome. If you're new, give a wave hi in the chat or in the live chat in Discord. Cool, so we'll go ahead and get started with the beginning of our turn here, where we need to resolve the vote from the Tellus Terra Group Incorporated vote. Excuse me. So last faction turn, our previous chairs of the board, Amelhart Institute, proposed a option to the field where they got to choose between either essentially trying to either steal or trying to share the money. Let me go find the text of that. Yeah. So it is the TTGI dividend disbursement, where the Tellus Terra Group will be paying out dividends to its investors. There were up to 9 fat creds available to steal and or share evenly between all of the investors. And I sadly have to report that the money has gotten lost in the accounting overseeing and got held up in paperwork, and then there was political maneuvering, and unfortunately, too many people attempted to steal that the 9 fat creds have just sort of dissolved into the Tellus Terra Group's expenses in trying to process out the money. So we'll be sure to learn more about perhaps where that money went and what happened in the bickering amongst different groups to try to acquire some of those funding. But unfortunately, those 9 fat creds have disappeared. But maybe we'll find out more perhaps on the next BBTV broadcast. So that takes care of that. Again, I'm not going to confirm. Sure, I'll say how many people attempted to steal. There were 7 factions that chose to steal. If Won't say who chose to steal, but there were seven different factions that made that request. So feel free to do the diplomacy and try to figure that is. Try to figure out who it is that stole. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started on the next bit of the turn here, where we go through the different faction actions. I will record, by the way, the ratio, since I've said it on stream, in text for the TTGI vote. So 7 steal and 2 share, just so that it's not only in the video, there's also a text record in the channel. But let's go ahead and get started with the faction turns here, and we'll be starting off with the Larkspur Combine. So let me shift us on over to the spreadsheet. Great spreadsheet. Oh, the screen has an awkward little black bar at the top of my head. Let me see if I can fix that real quick before we continue, because it's going to bother me. Great, there, it's gone now. Okay. So, I'm also, you can see up at the top of your screen, I've got my Xavier festive hat on for the holidays. So getting into the season as we get started here. As I said, we'll be starting off with Larkspur Combine. So let me branch on over here. and add in some more rows, because apparently I haven't done that yet. All right, so I want to insert 3 to the right. This is turn 2.5 trades, of which there were none, unless I've missed them, but I don't believe I missed any. And then we have turn 3 order, and then the actual turn 3 actions. Great. We'll shrink that because there are none. Oh, did Vane get money from AC? That's right, they did. Did I just not record things on the sheet and transfer it in Discord? How dare I? Let me check. I want to make sure this is all up to date. Probably just didn't track it in the sheet because that sounds like something I would accidentally forget to do. Yes, you're right. Okay, let me go through and add these real quick then. We'll do it together here on stream. So the Assembled Commonwealth traded a freighter contract to the Ascent. Let's find them. Great. The Assembled Commonwealth freighter contract. Contract on Tellus, which I think is going to be a planet of interest this stream, has been traded to the Ascent. Great. And then Assembled Commonwealth also gave transferred 2 FC to Children of the Vein. And then Larkspur Combines sent 1 FC to Aguamala Syndicate, it looks like. Great. Now I'm keeping myself honest, and it's all appropriately tracked on the spreadsheet. Cool. That takes care of turn 2.5 trade, so now we can get started with this proper. This does not need to be such a large cell because it's only going to store a number. And lucky for Larkspur Combine, they get to start us off again by being first. They're quite lucky with that. And I think you're right there, Foxy Owl. I think TTGI does make Tellus a planet of interest, but perhaps a little bit more in the focus this stream as we get started here. So Larkspur Combine is going to take the goal of inside enemy territory, and then we'll give them their income, and then they're going to take the action of use asset ability. Let me go ahead and just copy all that over. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go give them their money of 4 fat creds and set their goal. So they're up to 9, and then they're taking inside enemy territory, which is right here. Which, if we come over here, inside enemy territory, it requires having a number equal to your cunning score of stealth assets on worlds with other planetary governments. Stealth units already on a world don't count, so equal to cunning score. Their cunning score is 3. So IET 0F3. And then they're going to go move some assets around. So let's go over to the asset tracker and find the planet of Moss. Right here. Okay, they've got a post-tech industry here that they want to activate, so that's going to require a roll. Right here, it's stealthed. Post-tech infantry. Let's go find what their role is. I believe it's a D. There it is, D6. Yep. So on a 1, a fat cred's lost. 2 to 4, fat cred's earned. 5 to 6, they earn 2. So let's go roll that D6 and find out what happens. /R D6. Oh, a 1. Well, that's unfortunate. They've lost a fat cred. So let's go remove that fat cred and then go track what happened. So down to 8. How unfortunate. Faction turns. Roll 1d6. Result 1. -1 fat cred. How unfortunate. And then they're going to be moving 2 Seductrux from Nueva Comatok to Kirkaduk, and a surveyor from Sihi to Heliositis. Let's go take care of those. I believe both of those assets move for free, but let's go double check. Yep, as an action, can travel to any world within 1 hex, and excuse me, the other asset was a surveyor, and that's a little bit further down, and this just can move to any 2 hexes. So let's go check on the map. The Seductrix is moving from 1209, which is somewhere over here, right here, and they're moving down to Karkaduk. Great. So that's 1 hex. That's perfectly fine. And the surveyors are on 809, right in here. And they're moving to Heliositis, which is right up here at 807, which is 2 hexes. So every movement request is valid. So let's go take care of those. All right, so these 2 things are moving to Karkaduk. And then the surveyors here on Sihi are moving to Heliositis. Great. So hopefully all these new visitors are thrilled that they've got some Larkspur Combine assets on hand. That does move 3 assets onto worlds with new planetary governments, completing their goal, giving them 2 more XP, and we can get rid of all that tracking. Which finishes up Larkspur's turn. Yep, matches my notes, so we're now good. Which means we'll move on to the second faction in faction turn, which is, let me find them, Children of the Vein is second this time. They're not going to be setting a goal, and then we're going to go take their action of Seize Planet and give them their income. So let's go do all of that. So they now have a faction balance of 20, getting quite rich. And then they're going to do some moves. So let's go take care of the free action moves. Go over to the asset tracker. So they're going to they're going to use the Strike Fleet's free movement that is on Icaros to move it to Telos. So Icaros is in 1008 right here. Telos is 2 hexes away, which the Strike Fleet can now move. So it'll move onto that planet perfectly fine. Go find it. I believe this is theirs. Yep. So this moves to Telos. And then they're going to go activate the Extended Theater asset on their home planet of Moss to move pre-tech infantry that is on, or sorry, that's not on their home planet of Moss, but is on Moss, to move pre-tech infantry that is on Heliositis to Telos as well. So to verify, the Extended Theater asset now activates as a free action at the cost of 1 fat cred, so it can be activated that way. And it can move within 2 hexes. So if we go back to our lovely map here, we can see that Moss has this Extended Theater asset, so it's able to move the pre-tech infantry onto Telos. So we can go take care of that and then go charge them a fat cred. So let's do that, taking them down to 19. And then I'm able to move, there's the pre-tech infantry, and this can move to Telos. Great. That takes care of the free moves. So now they're going to choose to seize the planet of Telos now that they've got some more assets on there. So let's go start that seize clock for them. Seize of Telos. It's currently at 0 of 3. And they are going to be opposed by 2 factions. I'm going to mark that here for lack of a better place to put it. So they're being opposed by the Emelhart Institute and the Tohora Wai, or Bai. And everybody else on planet has chosen not to oppose them. Yes, that's fine. So given this opposition, Children of the Vein, are forced to make an attack in order to clear the planet of opposing factions' assets, as required by the Siege action. So they have chosen to make their first attack with a pre-tech infantry against the Tohora Fai, where they'll be the Tohora will be defending with their saboteurs. So let's go find all those assets on planet real quick so we can verify everything is there correctly. So here's everything on Tellus, which is great. So here's the pre-tech infantry by Children of the Vein, and here's Tohora saboteurs. So pre-tech infantry have an attack of Force v Force, and it's 2d8 damage. And then, so Force v Force is a 1d10 roll, and then it's going to be an opposition of a 1d10 plus 4, so 1d10 plus 6, and then 1d10 plus 4. Okay, so plus 6. Interesting. And plus 4. Would have figured that would have written with this. Oh, I must be on the drill shape. Weird. Anyway, I know what I'm rolling. I've got it on the side here in a notepad. So this is Children of the Veins roll. Typing it does not actually roll it, unfortunately, like that. So 1d10. Children of the Vein is fanatical, so they reroll any 1, so that's the RO1, so it'll reroll a 1 once. So children have rolled a 14, which is still possible then for Tohora to win if they roll a 10. Let's see if that happens. It doesn't, and they rolled a 9. So let's go record these results in the faction turn rolls. I'm just going to paste in this entire thing now because for some reason it doesn't like it when I try to add line breaks. Let's make this line a little bigger. Great. Right in here. So the result is 14 is an 8 plus 6 equals 14. V 5 plus 4. 5 plus 4 equals 9. CV wins, deals damage. Let's go roll their damage of 2d8. They also get to reroll 1s. So our 2d8 RO1. Rolling a total of 8 damage against the saboteurs. Which deals 8 damage. Great. Asset tracker, saboteurs that were on Tellus. Where are they? Right down here. They've got 6 health, so that brings them down to 0, which destroys them. So I guess I can remove this row. So yep, that's fine. That can be deleted. Okay, let's go resolve 8, dealing 8 damage, destroying saboteurs. Sabs. Great. The next attack then is Amelhart Institute going to be defending another pre-tech infantry attack. Amelhart Institute has a party machine on planet. So we can verify that right here by finding the party machine that's on Tellus right there. It's Amelhart Institute. They'll be defending another Force v Force attack. Amelhart this time, instead of a +4 like the Tohora had, only has a +3. So let's go make these rolls. So the first one is a 1d10 plus 6, where this needs to be rerolling 1s once. So CV has rolled a 9. And then 1d10 plus 3 for Amelhart. Well, technical expertise doesn't do anything. Realized I didn't double check. They have rolled a 12, so Amelhart has succeeded in defending this attack. Okay. Let's go record that, and then we'll roll counter damage, as the party machine does deal that. Okay, so I think I was putting this in another set of brackets. So the result is a 9 versus a 12. So 3 plus 6 equals 12. Wow, 3 equals a 9. V9 plus 3 equals 12. AI wins, deals X counter damage. Time to go roll the 1d6 counter that the party machine has. Ooh, wow. Rolling a 6 there, dealing 6 damage. I'd love to know how this party machine is capable of. I'd love to know what damage this has dealt to the pre-tech infantry. Did they just I don't know. Did they just buy them off with a bunch of tech? Maybe we can be enlightened at our next report at the upcoming lore stream. We'll get to find out what exactly happens. Maybe a rough idea. Let's go record that damage on the asset tracker before continuing. So, given there wasn't currently a way to distinguish the two pre-tech infantries, I'm going to say this was pre-tech infantry 1, this was pre-tech infantry 2, so this was the one that made this attack here, and it now has 10 HP, so we'll be able to tell them apart in the future. Finally, the Children of the Vein does have a second attack for AI. They'll be attacking with a strike fleet, and then again, this party machine will get to do its best to valiantly defend itself. So let's go roll the same attacks again. The only difference that has changed is that it's now less damage of 2d6 rather than 2d8. So this is CV's roll of a 12 versus AI's roll of a 6. Well, good news couldn't last forever, unfortunately. So let's go record those results, and then I'll come roll the counter damage, or roll the actual damage. So this result is a 6 plus 6 equaling a 12, via 3 plus 3, which equals a 6. CV wins, deal X damage. All right, let's go find out. It's going to be 2d6 RO1. Bashar 2d6 RO1. Dealing a total of 6 damage. No, that's correct. The fanatical reroll hasn't triggered yet, so they haven't had to worry about that at all, and we didn't have any ties, so we didn't have to worry about the condition where fanatical loses ties. So that deals 6 damage, which I believe is just enough to kill a party machine. No, it does not. It needed 8 damage, so this is down to 2. I must have been thinking of the saboteurs that were having had only 6 HP, so the party machine is left with 2 HP. So let's go deals 6 damage. Great. So, unfortunately, then that means that Children of the Vein have not managed to clear their opposition from the seas this turn. So some cool rules for seizing come into play, meaning that Children of the Vein is locked in to continue their seize next turn. And if I go double check our seizing, we have some stuff about seizing and seizing planets. So when you're under a lockdown, you have to continue to attack, take the attack action next turn, or they can choose to retreat. And there are rules here for how we would handle either of those. Though I heavily suspect that we'll be continuing to see some attacks next turn by Children of the Vein. Also, quick, yeah, so that takes care of that. I don't think there are anything other rules-wise to discuss there. So that leaves the tracker for the Seas of Tellus at 0 of 3. And I suppose I no longer need to particularly track that they're being opposed by Tahora because Tahora's been removed, but Amilthart still has an asset on planet. So that wraps that up for now. And we'll head on to our next faction, where Assembled Commonwealth is third this turn. They won't be setting a goal, as is fairly common. Both of them will go give them their income of 6 faction credits, and they are also taking the Seize Planet asset action this turn, though their Seize is very much less exciting as there's no potential opposition there. We'll give them their 6 faction credits, and then we got to move some assets around for them. So they're going to be using their covert shipping on Iderest, which is right here, to move the commodities broker that is on Tellus to Mankiraniti. So if we go take a look at our map, we can see, where's Iderest? Right down here, there's this covert shipping. So it's going to move the commodities broker here, and we're going to yeet it all the way down to right here in Mankiraniti. So let's go make that move as it's entirely legal. They're moving the one on Tellus. Let's make sure to move the correct one. And moving it to Mankira. Great. Also, we can clear purchase sicknesses. That has resolved itself. Okay, and that cost 1 faction credit to activate the covert shipping. So let's go charge that before I forget, because forgetting would be bad. Right here. Okay, and then next up is they're moving another asset, so they're going to activate the extended theater that is on their homeworld that we just removed the purchase sickness from right here to activate it, sending the covert shipping that is on this planet that was just used to move it to Mankiranita as well. So let's go make that move. And that cost another faction cred. So while I'm here, I'll just do that first, and then we'll go move the correct asset. So covert shipping. Yep. And we're going to move that to Mankiranita as well. So now that there are 2 assets on that planet by the Assembled Commonwealth, and no other factions have assets there, which I'll just verify by sorting this one more time. Yep, only 2 assets there by Assembled Commonwealth. So then we will just go start their Seize of Mankira Niti. Did I say Nita earlier? I think I did. It's Niti, apologies. Which is now at 0, which is now at 1 at 3, excuse me, because there's no opposition. So that takes care of starting that Seize for the Assembled Commonwealth and wraps up their turn. Cool. Cool. All right, on to our 4th faction then in today's list. We'll be activating the Concord of Mutual Disdain's turn here. Looks like my notes are actually missing their income amount, so let's find out what that is and then give it to them. Looks like their income is 4, so that brings them up to 10 fact creds. And I suppose I should update my notes before I copy it over. They're going to be taking the Expand Influence goal. And then they're going to be just simply expanding influence today. They have 2 assets down here on planet G, which has yet to be named by the community, as somebody will need to seize it to grab those naming rights. But they're going to be taking the Expand Influence asset there. So Concord of Mutual Disdain is going to set up a base of influence for 1 HP on planet G. So that's exciting. That costs them 1 faction credit, bringing them back down to 9, and it completes their goal, giving them 1 free experience, bringing them up to 3. And that may be one of the fastest turns ever. It is nice when that happens, but fun and exciting turns are still well worth the extra effort and time. Definitely want to make sure we get any attack orders correct. Messing those up would be a mess. So our fifth faction today is Tahora Fai, who will be continuing their exploration. So let's go give them their money of 4 faction credits, and then we'll take care of their turn. So they'll be taking the exploration goal. And they do need to move an asset first. So they're going to be moving a strike fleet, it looks like. Yep. Going to be moving a strike fleet that is currently on planet A, which is up the top of my list here. And it's the one with 8 HP, as is important to make sure I grab the correct one. And they're going to be moving that to, it looks like System 15, Point of Interest. Yep, 309, which costs them 2 faction credits. One for the move and one for the extra cost of yep, one for the move and one for the extra cost of exploration. So we come back here and we take them down to 6 faction credits. Great. And now they're going to be exploring at that system. It's in hex 309, right over here, and it is 2 hexes away from the nearest explored planet of planet A. So it looks like we'll be giving them a difficulty of 12, and the asset is a force asset, so it gives them a +4 to this roll. So we'll be rolling a 1d10 +4, hoping to roll a 12 or better. Let's see what happens. Ooh, rolling a 13, so they've succeeded with the roll. Congratulations. Let's go result. 9 plus 4 equals 13. Success. So now we get to roll up a new planet, and I am very happy that I made a macro for this because it makes it so much easier to roll up a planet. Still no ruin though, unfortunately, and I'm going to move this over to the side as I transfer all the information over to the sheet because that's the simplest way to do this. So, oh, I needed to roll for how many planets were in this sector, excuse me. That's fine. I know there's at least one, so I can roll for that real quickly. And I'll bring this back on stream so people can see the result. I've rolled a d6 and I've rolled a 6, meaning there are 3 planets in this system, so we're going to have tons of fun setting up some planets. I'm going to just take my Roll20 tab onto my second monitor real quick so that it's easier to move these planets over, because otherwise it's going to take quite a while of tabbing back and forth, and I'd rather not put everyone through that whiplash. So I'm going to need 2 more rows here, because there are now 3 planets in this system. 0309, 0309. That's very exciting, in fact, that there's actually 3 planets. I'm glad to have finally gotten that result. So the first planet, I believe the last planet we have is planet G, A, B, C, D, E, H, G. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Did I screw these up? Do I not have a planet F and H? No, there's F. Have I messed up the alphabet, everyone? That would be embarrassing. No, H is next. Okay. Yep. All right, so this planet then, the first planet is planet H. I should just have the list of planets next to me in my notes. That would make life easier. So these are planets H, I, and J. Oh, is my head in the way of the rolls? That would potentially be a thing, wouldn't it? I'll throw myself in the top left corner, I guess. That's perhaps less intrusive, and I'll pull the Roll20 tab back over if people want to see those results real quick. Is that better? That looks a little bit better. Cool. So yeah, rolled a 6, giving us 3 planets. So first planet here, planet H, has the mechanical tag of force assets owned by the planetary controller deal 1 additional damage on attack and counter-attack rolls. That's an interesting one. That's pretty fitting for Tahora, I would say. They are a force for sure. This is a TL4 planet. Yeah, that's fine. It has millions of people living on it, or millions of something. I guess they could be an alien species for sure. I shouldn't just use the word term people. It's both corrosive and invasive. It has a temperate temperature. It has an immiscible biosphere and has the tags of Warlord and Hatred. And unfortunately, there's no ruin on it. But there are 2 more planets here, so maybe one of the other planets will have a ruin. Our next planet is not going to have that, unfortunately. But it will give us the mech tag of cunning assets, deal 1 additional damage. Oh man, this is fitting. Can the third planet in this section be wealth assets, deal 1 additional damage? That would be like the perfect trifecta of planets. But we'll find out. There are tens of millions of sentient life forms living on this planet. It's only TL0 though, so perhaps not the best planet. It's let's see, it's got an invasive atmosphere along with a variable cold temperature, no native biosphere, and it is both a failed colony, or sorry, an abandoned colony, excuse me, wrong one, and apparently is occupied by zombies. Maybe that's why the colony's been abandoned there. Probably is. And then finally, the third planet in this sector, unfortunately, does not does not complete the trifecta here. It gives us instead the planetary government controller wins ties and attack and defense rolls on this planet, which only because it was relevant to a faction turn earlier, or to the actions earlier. This would override. At least at this moment, I would argue that this mech tag would override Fanatical for this specific planet. So if for some reason Children of the Vein felt themselves as planetary government controller on this planet specifically, I would be willing to rule that they could win ties and defense rolls. Though perhaps Met Council would want to consider the implications of those two, and we'll bring it up hopefully long before it ever becomes a weird edge case of the rules. Continuing on, filling in this planet, though, it has hundreds of millions of population. It's another TL4 planet, 2 of them in this sector. That's quite nice. It has a corrosive atmosphere, so these planets just all kind of suck in the atmosphere thing. It's a burning temperature. It only has the remnants of a biosphere. And it's both a pilgrimage site and contains some altered humanity. And unfortunately, the ruin roll here was a 9, so there are no ruins on this planet. And I'll bring the rolls back over and show them on screen now. It's just significantly easier to have them off to the side to type them over. So that takes care of creating this this section in this system. And Tahora has finished that up. Let's go move their asset onto the correct location now, as it's no longer on this point of interest. It's in fact now on planet H, as that was the first planet created. And I think I'm going to have to fix, because I didn't see planet I. Planet I going to show up? Nope. Okay, I'm going to have to fix the auto-linking again. Worst part about continuing to modify the map, but I can live with it. Okay, that completes their exploration goal, giving them a total of 5 XP. And that resolves their turn. So we'll move on next then to our 6th faction this round with the Amelhart Institute, who also just have a quick turn for us by taking the buy asset action. So let's go give them their income so they have the money to buy that asset. So we'll be giving them a total of 5 credits, bringing them up to 14. And then they're going to be buying a covert shipping on Ingrid. I'm told they have a CB discount, so let's go find out what that is from the turn before, because that'll be nicely on here. Giving they have a total CB discount of, it looks like 7 plus 5 plus 1, which would be 13. They're buying a covert shipping, which is listed as a price of 8. I'd have to pull out another table to double check that. Oh, there it is. Covert shipping. Yep. I believe that's a cunning asset. There it is. Yep. Cost of 8 fat creds. I can only get it down to half cost, so it'll cost them 4, and they'll just lose the rest of their discount. Womp womp. As marked there. And so they're going to be purchasing that on Ingrid. So let's go make that purchase for Amelhard Institute. Purchase sickness, and this is covert shipping, and it's going on Ingrid. Great. And then that cost them 4, bringing them down to 10. Then they have a second thing where they're going to be moving some smugglers. Cost 1 faction cred, so while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and take that as well. And they're going to be moving smugglers from... they're actually in 8.11. The map doesn't like all the space things, so I'm going to be trying to fix that over the next... after this faction turn, over the next couple of days. And so their asset is actually here, even though it's not displaying correctly, and then they're going to be moving it to 7.11 of Longza right over here. So let's go make that move. We have an asset on 8.11 right here, and they're moving to Longza. Great. That takes care of that. I've already charged them for it, so that finishes up their turn. Nice and quick. So next we'll be moving over to our 7th faction this turn, the Aguamala Syndicate, who are going to set their goal of seize planet, and then they're going to be buying an asset, so let's go give them their money and set their goal. Aguamala is planetary seizure. They're getting their income, bringing them up to 8. They're then going to go buy informers for 2 faction creds. That brings them down to 6. To verify that cost, informers right here cost 2. I need a new row. Let me insert it here so that it's automatically inside the table, just to make my life easier. Aguamala is going to be adding here. They're buying informers. Need to drag down my autocomplete stuff. And then this is going to be on Nueva Cuauhtemoc. Great. And it has purchase sickness. Cool. And then that's the only thing they're doing this turn, but their Seas of Gome ticks up to 3 of 3, finishing that, giving them 1 XP. And it makes them planetary controllers over Gome, so let's go mark that. Gome. There's no place like Gome. I'm giving this to Aguamala Syndicate. Hey, so they can now take advantage of the mechanical tag on this planet, giving them that force assets built on that world would cost 1 fat cred less. Exciting. Cool. Sweet. That takes care of their turn. And I believe I gave them their XP and all of that. I believe so. Yep. Cool. That wraps them up, bringing us on to our 8th faction in the faction turn. Ascent, another faction, to have rolled the exact same number. They're being quite slow for their speedy name, but that's all right. So they're also going to be exploring, but let's go take care of giving them their money first. Bringing them up to 8, and then setting this as exploration. And of course, like most factions that explore, they need to move some assets there first. So they're going to be activating the smugglers on 1207, right over here, that are on planet E, to move themselves along with the tripwire cells that are on the same planet to the point of interest in system 1206, right up here. So let's go make that jump for both of those assets, and that costs them 2 faction credits, bringing them down to 6. These things are currently on planet E. Here they are. Both of these Ascent assets, and we're going to move them to System XLV 45. Great. Then they're going to be exploring. So they're going to start with the smugglers, where the difficulty is 10 because they're only 1 cell away, and their roll is 1d10 plus 4, given the fact that they're using a cunning asset for the exploration. So let's see the results of this roll. Oh, they've rolled an 11. Got lots of people exploring on exploration this turn. Quite a change of pace from the last couple of turns where exploration has been quite treacherous. So that's quite exciting. And let's see how many planets are in this system. I'll do that first this time. I've rolled a 5, which I believe is just 2 planets. Yep, right there. So let's go resolve. Let's go keep the success marked with an 11, and then cool. So that's right here. So result is 7 plus 4 equals 11. Success. Cool. Let's go add these planets. These guys are in the hex of 1206, which is the fastest way to find it, right here, giving us a new planet of planet K, and then a second planet right below that of, sorry, talking and typing at the same time doesn't always work out the best, of planet L. Great, so let's take these over to the side, and that way I can roll up some planets. So the first planet we're rolling up today, in this sector that is, contains the mechanic's turn of once per turn, heal an asset 1 HP on this planet as a reaction. Quite nice. It has tens of millions of people as the population, and is another TL4 planet. It's got a invasive atmosphere, along with a variable warm temperature. It's got an immiscible biosphere, and it contains more altered humanity, quite a lot of that in our sector, and is a Badlands world. And the ruins roll was a 10, resulting in no ruin for this planet. The next planet in this sector is a mech tag of facility assets built on this world, cost 1 less. It has another tens of millions of population. It's only TL2. It's got a corrosive and invasive atmosphere. Man, all these planets roll up today have pretty bad atmospheres to live in, but recovers in the temperature of just being temperate, and has another immiscible biosphere. And then we've got both post-scarcity and out of contact as the 2 tags for this world. So we'll go move the assets onto planet K that just arrived here. And that's where we find the Koyos Expeditionary Force. I don't know how to pronounce that other word. And the planetary roll for the ruin there was only a 13, so unfortunately not a ruin. No quite luck with the ruins, unfortunately, yet in exploration. I promise it can actually roll a 20. There is a d20 here that is being rolled. It just hasn't happened yet. So maybe we'll get a ruin one day, but not this turn. All right, that resolves their turn. The other exploration they had queued up doesn't need to go off, and that gives them 2 XP for completing that goal, bringing them up to 6. And then last but not least, our final faction for this turn is the Starlit Court, who are going to be taking the Wealth of Worlds goal as they receive their income of 3 faction credits, and then are going to be using asset ability. So let's give them their money, brings them up to 5. They're taking the Wealth of Worlds goal. Quick recap on that goal: they need to spend 4 times their faction's wealth rating. Money is, lost, but the goal is then accomplished. Well, their wealth is only 1, so they need to spend 4 on this. But let's go take care of the rest of their things first. So we're going to be activating the ability of Sihi to move itself, as is their planet's special ability, right here. Any assets move with it. So let's go move Sihi from 0809 to 0908. It's now going to be in a system called Sihi and the planet called Sihi. So that just shifts the entire map over and means I need to go move anything that's on Sihi, otherwise they're going to be entirely wrong and broken and the map's not going to like it. So let's go fix that. Great, everything that was on Sihi just shifts on over. I can mark these discounts as used, and that's great. Oh, since trade sickness goes away as their turn just completed. Great. So the next thing after that's been taken care of is Starlit is going to be activating their harvesters that are present here to try to make them some money. I believe harvesters need to make a roll to make some money. Where are they? Right here. Yep. Roll a 1d6 on 3+. They gain a faction credit. Let's go roll that d6. That's a 4, so that gives them +1 faction credits. So let's give that, making them 6. And then let's go track that roll on the faction turns page. Wrong one. Right here. Roll 1d6. Result 4, which is greater than 3 plus 1 FC. Then they're going to be activating the smugglers. That's in 1305 to move to 1503. That costs them 1 faction credit. As a starship asset, it is able to continue to float there out in space, so let's take them down to 5. And go move that smugglers around. It's in 1305. Right there. And then it's going to be moving to a new space, so 1503/1503/1503, which I know is not going to be a valid thing. Just moved out of here though. 1503, 1503, 1503. And hopefully that resolves everything. Oh, I need to update the Sihi location as well. That takes care of moving the smugglers. And then they're going to activate the strike fleet, it looks like, to move from 1606 to 1705. Now, I believe, just to clarify rules here, that a strike fleet generally, as we've moved one a few times, would require 1 fac cred to move to any location within 2 hexes. However, the Starlight Court is a mercenary group, which gives them the ability to just activate an asset for free to move to within 1 hex, or increase its range by 1 if it already has this ability. So they're able to do that for free to move by 1. This has deleted itself, has it? Oh no, the text color is just white for some reason. Weird. We'll move it to black. Okay, so that means that this strike fleet can move for free. The ruin roll, by the way, jumping back and catching up on chat math, is it needs to be a 20 critical hit for a ruin. So that takes care of that. So let's go move this strike fleet, which is the one that's in 1606, right down here, to 1705. 1705, 1705. This is going to be my new formatting, by the way, for space locations, so that the map doesn't get all confused. I'm just going to repeat the hex location 3 times. for both the hex, the system name, and the planet name. That way they're all three unique, and we don't have clashing overlaps, which is what's causing the space display to, to be all wacky and weird. So that takes care of that move, and I will fix ranges so that these don't have listed invalid markers on them. Great. That takes care of both of those. And then Starlit Court spends 4 faction credits to complete their goal, which I believe gives them 2 XP. Yep, bringing them up to 7. Well, that wraps up all of the faction turns. A little bit of a slightly longer stream than last time, but that's all right. We had some attacks, and we want to make sure that those things happen correctly, as getting them wrong would be quite bad. So, that's quite nice. Cool. Let me see. Anything else spreadsheet-wise that needs to happen? Not next. So let's switch back to the big display. Cool. All right. So up next, as I said, we got to take care of whoever was chair for this turn, which I can say was the Concord of Mutual Disdain, was the chair of TTGI, and they've put forward a new decision for the Overseers board to consider. They've got the TTGI terraforming decision. So the Tellus Terra Group Initiative needs its overseers to make a final selection to influence the outcome of the planet. Quick note: this vote is unique. It has more than 2 options. It in fact has 5 to select from. And in order for this decision to pass, one of the options needs to win with at least 50% support. If no option gets that amount of support this round, this question will come back up as an option for a future chair to put forward, and that condition stays the same, and the lowest supported option drops off. So if option 2 only didn't get any support this round, then next time this came up, there would only be 4 options to choose from as we progress forward. So the lore for this decision is that the Overseers Board is given the final decision by management to decide how the ending of the terraforming resources are allocated to change the perception of the planet. So this is a vote for one of the tags on the planet at the very end. Once the clock completes itself, you'll be selecting the additional tag that gets added. So the 5 options that are available is option 1 of seagoing cities. Option 2 is trade hub. Option 3 is altered humanity. Option 4 is psionics academy. Just continuing to use the words from the Stars with the Numbers book. However, of course, that would be some actual reference to what the bleed is in our lore. So the precise name of that could be modified, but the idea was that sort of Psionics Academy-like tag. And then option 5 is a local specialty, where the specialty would be decided by the first planetary government holder after the terraforming is complete. So as soon as terraforming is complete, if there is a planetary government holder, then that individual gets to select gets lord domain over the specialty. Otherwise, it's whoever seizes it first after that. So like normal, this vote information will go up in updates so that there's a text copy of it and there's not just me reading it out on stream. And that'll be coming up very shortly, sometime this afternoon. It'll get posted. Any questions about that upcoming vote? Let me know in chat, or have a faction rep reach out to me with any questions, and I'll be sure to answer them. Cool. So I do have something else to take care of this stream that will require the spreadsheet. So let me flip back over to that. Oops, wrong page. So on the spreadsheet, we've got a fun little tracker on the planet map for the planet of Tellus, where it has a clock that is progressing. And being turn 3, the clock automatically ticks itself up to 2. Oops, I've added an extra character there. And in fact, by doing so, It has had a new discovery by the terraforming group of TTGI, where there is now a ruin available to be explored. This can wrap text. So in fact, this entire column can wrap text, just so I never have to worry about that again. The terraforming clock, as I said, progresses itself up to 2 out of 12, and there is a ruin available to be discovered on Tellus. As a quick reminder of how the ruins work, to explore a ruin, it constitutes as a free action on a faction's turn, where any faction which has an asset located on the planet with the ruin can spend up to 5 faction credits. You could also spend 0 to roll a 1d10 plus the number of fact creds, where the following chart results in the mechanical gains. A 1 to 3 is a complete failure. A 4 to 8 places a +1 on the ruin clock, and a 9 plus is a critical success, giving a +2 to the ruin clock. Excuse me. Additionally, anytime somebody takes the exploration here, you'll get a small blurb from myself and the rest of the mod team within 48 hours of that faction turn stream that'll tell you sort of what you've explored and what you've found. And once the clock of the ruin is filled in, the ruin that is on this planet will be revealed to the faction that finishes exploring it. First, giving them the ability to sort of help write the lore for the exploration and discovery of the asset, even though the mechanical option will be available, and that takes care of that. The clock, by the way, for Planetary Ruin has 8 steps on it. I realized I accidentally skipped that bit, so let me go add that to the note here, that it has a 0 of 8 progress. Also, that's correct, Cassadar. If you spend 3 faction credits on the roll, you are guaranteed to at least advance the clock by 1. And any number of factions can participate on trying to increase this clock. Yeah, it's a shared clock on the planet. So if there's just one clock, it ticks up to 8. Everybody who wants to participate in exploring it can participate in exploring it. And as these rules say here, there could be additional rules, additional rewards for getting to specific spots on the clock. For this one in particular, there's not, but there's just the exploration of discovering what ruin is present here. And on one of these tables, somewhere I had put the ruins list on these tables. It's on the spreadsheet somewhere, maybe in a hidden thing. The plan for the lore info would be I would specifically try to give a little blurb to the people who worked on the project specifically, so they can have sort of first dibs at making whatever that lore announcement is, and then other people will be able to know about it afterwards. But any mechanical impacts would be publicly shared on stream, because it's not a whole lot of fun to have secret mechanical details for something that can affect everyone in that sort of way. Once it's discovered, everyone will get to know what it does. So there will be a turn delay in its activation. It'll come in, any sort of ruins ability comes in with the summoning sickness, where it can't be used on the turn it's discovered, just so that there's not, the ability to sort of all of a sudden abuse something. But that takes care of that. Again, if there are additional questions on the ruin system, since again it's still fairly new, feel free to message me and I'll get back to you with answers. Cool. Well, I thank everyone for coming out and enjoying the stream. Perhaps we'll get to hear some more at the upcoming lore stream about things that have happened here Maybe we'll get some breaking news reports about some hints about what that ruin may be, or the different seizures that have gone on across the sector. So the upcoming lore stream will take place on the 19th of December at 1 p.m. Eastern US time. If you've got content you'd like to be included in that, please try to have it in about 48 hours beforehand on Thursday the 17th. And the next faction turn, so faction turn 4, will take place after the new year. It'll take place on January 9th, tentatively. I'll make sure to get final details and dates into the Discord ASAP. But that way there's some extra time to take care of holidays, and people don't have to worry about it over the holiday time. So I think that about wraps us up for this turn. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out, and hope you enjoyed the stream. Again, if you're new here and you wanna join on into the Discord, exclamation mark Discord in chat will give you a link to join in, and yeah, that'll I think wrap it up for me here. Cool. Thanks everyone for coming out.